Welcome everyone to the GovHack International Connections event, where you're going to learn about what GovHack is, what open government data is, and the ways that you can participate in GovHack, and we'll let you know about some of the themes that are going to be on this year. I am Jason Weigel. I am the operations lead of GovHack, and I've been started off as a participant in Queensland in 2013, and have just become more and more of a volunteer all the way up through to now being operation lead for Australia and New Zealand, along with the chair of GovHack Australia Limited. I'm joined here this evening by three of the other people that are looking after organising this. So I'm going to hand over to Matt first.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm one of the directors of GovHack. Attended my first GovHack event back in 2013. Didn't actually participate that year. Wasn't for a few years until I did. Participated in 2018, I think it was, and also had my kids participate in 2019. After that, I was excited about it and got more actively involved and behind the scenes as the director role. And this year I'll be looking after the ACT region and going to our Canberra event. And I'll pass on to Zadul.
Hi everyone, I'm Zadul. I'm the data lead and the director of GovHack. I participated in GovHack back in 2018 and then was involved with the state team in South Australia, and then now I'm on the board. I like the idea of GovHack because it's allowing you to go outside your border, and I want to be involved with it as long as I can. I will pass it to Stuart.
Hey everybody, I'm Stu from New Zealand. I fell for the GovHack bug in 2016. I had a win, and with our earthquake response visualizer, made a trip to Adelaide. You know, it was really fun. So I got the bug, and I remember on the Saturday night going, wow, this is really going to make a difference. The things that we're building over the weekend. So then I wanted to give back. So, you know, a few years later, I was event host, and now I'm NZ lead this year. Very excited. My day job is transforming the way the world works at Trimble, geospatial technology, emerging tech, and really looking forward to what the teams can do this year.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll hear from each of us a little bit more as we go on to hear about what we're doing and how we're participating in GovHack a little bit more. Before we move on, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this from and streaming it to you. That is the Yagara and Turrbal people here in Brisbane, and GovHack pays respect and acknowledges the traditional custodians of the various lands from where all of you are watching, and all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders peoples participating in GovHack. GovHack pays respects to elders past and present, and celebrates the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and their ongoing culture and connections to the lands and waters of Australia. We would also would acknowledge the Maori people in New Zealand. So I'll pass over to Stuart for acknowledging that, because you're over there. I'm not as familiar over there.
Yes, no, the heritage, the Māori culture, Te Reo is very strong, and within you know, the hack space and the cities around Aotearoa. And you know, I get, you know, just like to kind of I call out for the Aotearoa team from last year. We did actually have a passing of one of our leads last year, so that was something that we're kind of trying to bring Mike's spirit through this year, and you know, have a really good multicultural event.
Okay. We would also like to thank our sponsors that make a GovHack free and accessible to as many people as possible. These events aren't possible without our sponsors that make it so that we can have as many people at these events as we can. So for this, we have our lead international sponsor is Infosys, returning for the 5th year. We have, as an international event partner, Torrens University Australia. For our Australian national sponsors, we have the Australian Taxation Office, the National Freight Data Hub, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and the Clean Energy Regulator. As community partners, we have the Hackathons International, Founders Institute, Luma Institute, and Mural, as well as Credly. Over in New Zealand, which sponsors do we have over there, Stuart?
Yeah, we have Trimble. I'm from Trimble. We have MDS Media Design School connected with our Torrens sponsor. We do have a Smart City Christchurch offering challenges. UC Entrepreneurship are providing mentors and vendors at venues, and Credible Research Labs in Whangarei as well. They're providing space and support team.
Matt.
Yep, so in ACT, we've got the ACT government as one of our sponsors, and also Palantir as another sponsor for ACT. For New South Wales, one of our venue partners, ACU. And for the Northern Territory, we've got a good turnout of sponsors and partners this year. We have Charles Darwin University, Inspired NT, CDU, ACS, and Navitas.
In Queensland, we once again have returning the Queensland Government as our gold sponsor, and then we have Moreton Bay Region Council as well as Unity Waters coming in with some great sponsorships. Then our partners are the University of Queensland, AnyHub, and Uni SC.
In South Australia, we have Regional Development Board of Australia, especially on the Barossa and Gawler region. We have the City of Adelaide, the sponsor, and the Department of Primary Industries and Regions. We have another sponsor, the Inspiring SA, and RAA. We have our community partners, SA Leaders, Australian Computer Society, Performance Education, Moonshops Intervention, and we have the catering partner, AZ Delicious.
In Tasmania, we have the City of Hobart and King's Digital as our sponsors, along with Coding Sisterhood, the TEDx Hobart, and IIBA Australia as partners. In Victoria, we have the Victorian Department of Premier and Cabinet as our sponsors, and Deakin University as a partner. Lastly, in Western Australia, we have as our sponsors the City of Fremantle and the City of Albany, along with our partners, Polsies, the Great Southern the Great Southern Grammar, as well as the State Library of Western Australia. So thank you very much to all of our sponsors that make this possible. Make sure that when you see them over the competition weekend, you give them a shout out and a thanks for making GovHack possible. So you may ask, what is GovHack? GovHack is a festival of ideas. It is a way that we come together over 46 hours to use open government data in a way that will make our communities better places. People can produce proof of concepts that will be able to bring together multiple different data sets in response to some of the great challenges that are put forward by our sponsors. So, Matt, what do you think a festival of ideas is to you?
Yeah, it's a good one, and I do notice on this slide as well that we don't have the word hackathon. It's just not limited to hackathon. It's not just building apps. It really is a creation festival of making things. A makeathon, I think, as someone described it as, that it's about creating cool things. And there's anything and everything, and anyone and everyone can compete in it. So it really is a festival of ideas. There is an element where you do build something, but that something could be, anything.
That's awesome. For Zadul, you've seen you've worked with a lot of data, being in your data lead role. So mashing up this data, what sort of interesting mashups have you seen in the past?
Yeah, we have seen great projects in last many years coming from the GovHack. It is related to data, but it doesn't. You have to always build a software or any application or app. We have seen like hardware projects as well that is related with data. We have seen a nice project. I can remember it was a board game. So it can be anything that you can connect with a data set and another data set and bringing up some value out of it. It can be some insights from the data. It can be some new values of data, a new product, a new service.
Stuart, what things have you seen over in New Zealand?
Yeah, look, well, I think teams, they come in, they're honing their skills, they're networking, they're mixing with, creatives and devs and business people. So what I've seen is a really, really good mix. And we're hearing from people like our councils and government, issues of our time, sustainability, a strong theme. Of course, we've had COVID in the past. So I think, the content is really kind of spot on, that we're quite relevant. And, that really gets people in the event engaged and see how can it relate to them.
Awesome. So, GovHack as an entity is a not-for-profit that has this mission of using this open data to make communities better places. We do this by putting on this annual hackathon that occurs, and we have the mentality that it is free for anyone to come along and participate. We want as many people, so we make this inclusive for it. People can participate at our physical events, or they can participate in our digital. We aren't restricted to just the people in the capital cities. We have some regional events, and where we don't have a regional event, we try and encourage participation through our online platforms. We are a volunteer-driven organization. Everyone you see here on the screen at the moment is a volunteer that is contributing to this. We put our time and effort into this because it is something we believe in. We believe in open access to data, as well as the things that come out of this competition. So the things that you produce are made available so other people can derive new and creative things from it. And we believe in fair data principles. So the word hack, Matt, isn't that a bad thing?
Yeah, and I'd always like, we probably should have started with a bit earlier, just make it really clear to the audience as well that it's not hack the government, right? Like where the name GovHack, we do have hacking in it, but I love these two definitions that are on the screen that we use here about what we're talking about with hacking. It's building cool things. It's the life hacks, it's the hacks and things that you can do and create things. So we're not talking about penetrating a system and getting unlawful access to data. We're talking about using the open data made available by the governments to create cool things, hacking it together.
Yeah. So it's all the data that is released is de-identified. So you can't link it back to a specific person, but you can draw collective insights that are beneficial to many different people. So, who participates in GovHack? We encourage anyone that wants to come along. A quick story for this. In Queensland, where I'm located, we had a couple of years ago, I was just a Queensland lead and I drove around to multiple different sites. We had both the youngest participant and the oldest participant in the same year, one in Ipswich and one in Logan. At the Logan site, we had a little boy that was about 4 years old that was competing with his big brother, and they were coming together to look at crash data around Queensland. They both got involved in the coding and the design of it, so it was a project from both of them. We then also had a gentleman in their 80s that was looking at insolvency. So he was previously had worked at identifying people that were insolvent and had issues with it for the process. So he was bringing his life experiences in to work with a younger developer and designer to produce a new, interesting outcome. So generally, we see that our participants are students, whether they be from all levels, generally from our tertiary, but we encourage participants from secondary and primary schools as well. We have a lot of public servants, a lot of people in the tech industry and data lovers. Overall, it's all ages and from all around, both in major cities and in regional towns. Matt, you said before that you had your children participating. What sort of things did they do?
Yeah, that's right. So back in 2019, I'll act as a mentor just for the one team as such, but the team was my children and aged between 4 and 11 at the time. So going for that title of the youngest entry as well. Now, what they did was they used open water data, so data about the water levels in the Sydney area, and they used that data to model with clay, so no apps, no code. They used it to build a model of a playground that could be used in a public space, and each of those dam levels, they had little signs that they made up that showed the percentage, how much water was in each of those, and kind of simulate it with some blue dye and some water to show what a park could look like if it was built using that data set and then having live data and the dam levels going up and down as kids interact and play and learn from that. And they were fortunate enough to win a challenge with that, with their entry. But yeah, it was clay, and they built this awesome little display and got to show it off. They were quite excited about it.
That sounds awesome. So that didn't require much tech at all.
Yeah, that's right. The bigger kids did look through the data sets and how it is, and understand and interact with it. Some of the resources are great. Like they're not so much about writing loads of codes. It's very easy to interact with and get that information. So they were able to click through some of these water websites with data and show the network, the whole water network, and how it all went together. So when they were putting their video together, they were able to show just some of the information that was already displayed on those data providers' websites. So that's just one of the examples of the I suppose the alternate entries, but it's not always about writing code. There's a lot of drag and drop and click and low code, no code type tools available to interact with those data sets as well, even if you are working on the digital side of it.
So Stuart, when you participated in the past, what sort of skills did you bring in both, and then what other skills did the people in your team have?
Yeah, the original team, I think Masters of Disaster, I think we called ourselves. We had someone from Telco, some from Vodafone, and they brought in their web skills. I was sort of team lead, but I was doing my data. I ended up doing a lot of the data mining and data analytics. So I'm not much in the coding side. Then we had more, Darren was kind of really loved the art, right? And really kind of into how it looked and felt, and a bit of the aesthetics. And Kevin was really in there with a lot of the kind of app coding, right? So between us all, we had a nice spread, and we had a nice we talked about user interface, we did some whiteboarding, we pulled in some of the stakeholders on the challenge, and it was a really good fun event, and multi-skilled.
Awesome. So we've had participants from all around Australia and New Zealand. All these different locations that are being shown on the screen at the moment are where we've had physical events or people participating. This was at, admittedly, this was pre-COVID. COVID in the last 2 years has caused most of our events to go online, but this year we're coming back to physical events, and we'll showcase where these are coming up shortly. So we reach out to a very large community of people in our social channels, as well as people in our Slack. We have an evolving Slack community that has participants from many different years, so we can reach out to them to see if they want to help or support the new people that are coming in. So, where is the furthest place that each of you have been on this map? Zaidul, so you're based down in Adelaide. So, where else in this map have you ventured off to?
Mount Gambier.
Yeah.
That's a regional small town in South Australia and the border of Victoria.
Okay. I remember seeing some of the great entries coming out of Mount Gambier. I think that's where that board game that you're mentioning originated from. I would love to have got a chance to play that one. Stuart, you're over in New Zealand. Where over there or over here have you been?
Yeah, so I am in the South Island dot there. I've been up and down the North Island, and I have been to Perth. And a fun fact for Stu, born in Ballarat. So there we go. So,
Nice.
so I definitely was there at ground zero.
Nice. Matt.
Yeah, so furthest I've travelled would be over to those the Perth, Fremantle, Mandurah ones. I've been over that area, so that's furthest from where I am here in Sydney. But for GovHack this year, I've been on the plane a bit, and I've been down in Melbourne for the Connections event a few weeks ago, then Sydney for the Connections event. Then I'm going to Canberra this year for the competition. So I'm getting a few kilometres travelling there and getting to meet a few participants this year in different locations.
Nice. For me, I've been jumping around to a pile of different locations within Queensland, along with most of the eastern seaboard. Haven't got yet down to Tasmania, but hoping to get there. Been over to New Zealand and to Adelaide for the awards event that occurred there a few years ago. Be good to do some more travel with travel opening up again. So, what benefits are there for participating in GovHack? A lot of the chances you get a chance and the ability, permission to try something new. It's a 46-hour event. You can try something new without being locked into it. So learn new skills, try something new, explore new data sets that you don't normally work with. It's permission to have fun. We look at increasing awarenesses around the public data sets. All this data is released by the government for people to use and investigate. So we want to make sure that we encourage that. We look at showing the data is able to address current challenges that are released that are facing our communities. It's a great way to look at getting employment. Quite a few of our sponsors, one of the reasons that they sponsor is for looking at recruitment. So they're looking to gain skills in their industry, inside their organization. And so they will see the talent that is coming through GovHack and see these are people that I want to talk to. So make sure to have a chat with the potential mentors and sponsors at the weekend, because they may potentially be your future employers. We also have a new thing this year, looking at some micro badges. So, Zaidul, what are micro badges?
Micro badges are mainly for different days, like social media platforms. Like we all have LinkedIn's nowadays, and we get certificates and we show our certificates as a badge in our LinkedIn certificate badge. So we are providing the micro badges for the participants who are having a good project, and also the winners and runner-ups. And we also provide the micro badges this year to our mentors.
So, Stuart, what sort of benefits did you get out of participating in GovHack?
Yeah, the benefits out of GovHack. If you look at the work coming out of GovHack in New Zealand, we do have a nice relationship with our city and businesses. So as you say, they're looking for some results, and maybe the real impact is, taking it beyond the hack. It's an open code base, and really seeing that make some difference, maybe as a beta, and the local city will potentially support winners, going to that next level, taking it to the real citizens and get them to experience their hack. You know what? It's a lesson in project management. It's a mini product, right? So you're gonna have skills of, we need to get to the heart of the product. What story are we trying to tell? I was video editor, so there's marketing. You've got to really tell a story. I was doing some video footage. So you pick up a skill of how to build something from scratch. Of course, you're not spending months on it, but you've got the elements of how to build a product and launch it. Very exciting.
Yeah, awesome. So where can you participate? These are the different physical events that we're having this year. We have quite a few different events over in Queensland. We have 2 events in Brisbane, one in St Lucia and one in Fortitude Valley, and we have one up in Moreton Bay. Down in New South Wales, we have 2 events in Sydney, one in Surrey Hills and one in North Sydney. ACT, we have the Canberra event. In Melbourne, we have an event near the Southern Cross Station and one near Flinders, as well as an event at Burbank for Deakin students. Tasmania, we have the Hobart event, South Australia, Adelaide, NT Darwin, and then over in WA, we have Albany, Fremantle, and Perth as places that you can compete. And I'm going to hand over to Stuart for the New Zealand names, because I will butcher that.
You will butcher that. Yeah, exactly. Whangarei is at the top there. Auckland and Christchurch, also known as Otatahi. Yeah, we've got three venues, some great hosts, mentors. There's food, there's catering, there's going to be some swag. There's going to be some merch. So we can't wait to see you.
A lot of our venues have catering provided. Depends on the specific venue for it. So check on the hackerspace to read what's at a specific venue, so you know what you're going in to expect. Make sure to fill out on the hackerspace when you're registering for your event any dietary requirements you have, so that they can be taken into consideration for it. If you don't tell us, we don't know. How can I get involved? So, Matt, Slack. What can I do on Slack?
Everything, right? It's our primary tool for communication and collaboration within the competition weekend, even in the lead up to it. Now, we've really leaned on it the last couple of years with COVID and the virtual and hybrid events that we've been doing, but that's going to continue. It's still a useful tool, important for announcements and updates during the event, even when you're at the physical update. In the lead up to it, one of the channels that's being shared here at the moment on the screen is the Find a Team. You can go in there and you can start building a team now. And we've got the ability that you can have those hybrid teams. You don't all actually have to be in the same location, and you might be able to get someone from a remote area to join into your team and bring a crucial skill set into there as well. But it's also a good opportunity to reach out to mentors. Like there might be a data custodian for one of the national challenges that you're interested in speaking to, and they haven't sent someone to every of these venues that we've got around the country. It's a good place to reach out and get in contact with them as well. But the final one, probably the most important one, is around if you need help, if you're reaching out, you're not sure what to do, and you're not sure what you should be doing right now, and you've missed something, or someone in your team's tested positive to COVID, and you're not sure what your team should do, etc. Those kind of things. Reach out, jump on the Slack, and ask the questions.
Right. If I'm new to this, how do I get onto Slack? Zadul, how do I log in and start talking to people?
Okay, so logging to Slack is pretty easy. So just go to the govhackhq.slack.com, and you just create an account. And if you don't have an account, just create an account and you are onboarded. And when you log in, you will see like a whole lot of whole lot of channels there. Like some of them are already mentioned: announcement, find a team, hack different states, and you will be onboarded there. And Slack is very chatty on the weekend, especially the way competition weekend. People are asking questions continuously and asking suggestions. So just log in and create an account there if you don't have it there.
Awesome. Um, so, um, we mentioned on the hackerspace before for where you go to register, but there's also places where you can create a profile. So these profiles are linking you to information about yourself. So you can list your skills, you can list whether you're looking for a team, you can list your location. So this allows you to help find a team. We also have a feature on there that's was put in there last year that allows you to link it to your Slack profile within the GovHack HQ, so that if you're trying to talk to someone that is has the skills that you're looking for, if they've linked their Slack account, you can go to there and you can click a button and it'll open up Slack for you, and you can start chatting with them right now. We also have on the profiles ways that you can link off to your GitHub, off to your Twitter, off to your other social profiles, so that other ways of connecting with people. So, do each of you have a profile on the hackerspace?
Yep, and mine's linked to my Slack, and that's all in there.
Of course, yeah.
Yep.
And I've even added, you can add your skills in. So I've added building Slack integrations in there because I helped with some of the testing and fixing around that as well.
Awesome. So yeah, make sure to link to your Slack profile when you go into the hackerspace. When you're managing your account, there's a button there that says "Link to Slack." So make sure to click that to link your profiles. So team formation. You mentioned, Matt, that you can work on Slack or you can use the hackerspace profiles. What other ways can you start forming teams? And do I need to come into GovHack with a team already formed?
No, you don't need a team already formed. I'm sure there's going to be groups of friends and people that know each other, maybe students that go to university together that might come in with either a fully formed or a semi-formed team. But what to expect at the physical venues first. So if you are going to one of the physical events and you're going to be there in person, we've got people there to help put the teams together, and that will be part of the agenda and part of working out who needs to get into a team. So do make yourself known, do let people know, and there'll be a whole lot of other friendly hackers there that'll be happy to join you into their teams as well if they're looking for people. So be ready to share what skills you have, and or if you already have a semi-formed team, what skills you're looking for, and between the venues they'll be able to assist getting you. And then we can also reach out to that hybrid model and get someone on the Slack as well to help out. So just let someone know at the physical venue that you're looking to form a team. Don't run off halfway through the presentation because you don't have a team formed. Don't worry, there's going to be other people there at that venue that we can get you connected to.
And also additionally, we'll have lanyards. Lanyards will have your name and the sort of skills as well. So nice way to sort of share your capabilities as well.
I have some shiny pictures of some lanyards coming up, so that's a great call, and I'll point those out very soon. Other things to get ready for the competition. So, Zodil, you're looking after all the data sets and the data portals. So at the moment, I can't see anything. Are they coming soon? What's happening?
Yes, this dataset will be populating over the next week. There will be all the links of that potential dataset that you may need, and also like all the government data portals will be there, and some other extra data portals will be linked up there. It will be populating next week, and you will get them by when the competition starts.
Okay, but what happens if I want to look now? Maybe, is there anywhere that I can look now to see what data is available?
Yes, definitely. Like all the state governments and even the national government, the federal government has an open data portal. So some of them screenshots are here. So like whichever state you are in, like nsw.data.gov.au is taking you to the NSW one. So just put this state name and data.gov.au will get the data portal. And also like the some of the city councils, the regional governments, they also have the data portals, open data portals. We have there are heaps of open data sets are there. You can find them, how the open data looks like, what forms there. Also, like as the census data has been published, you can find the census data open as open data and also open API in the ABS site. We know like ATO is our one of the sponsors this year. ATO has a heaps of open data there. So open data is everywhere, and that's the beauty of GovHack. You have a data set, a challenge, and you mesh up with multiple other data set and you create some beautiful projects.
Awesome. So you mentioned that census data. There's a talk on Monday night about census data. So tune back in here on this YouTube channel, and you can hear about the census data. So Stuart, what sort of data portals do you have over in New Zealand?
Yes, we have data.gov.nz. Data ranges from health statistics, land information, LiDAR, heights, social, lots of social data. It's there. You can browse to it if you go to the GovHack website. And a little hint of around social ESG. So hey, let's just look at some of those relevant data sets ahead of time.
Yeah. Awesome. So, what happens if I want to see what people did last year? Matt, where can I find out about things from last year and see what people did in the past?
There's two answers to this, and one of them's on the screen, which is the hackerspace. You can go to last year's hackerspace and not only see the entries that were done, so 2021 hackerspace, and go through and you see some of the challenges. So get an idea of what some of the challenges look like and match that up some of the entries. But on the GovHack website as well, you can actually look at the winners from last year as well. So you can actually see what some of the winning challenges are, which will link back to this hackerspace as well.
Awesome. So one of the things that I see that sometimes some of the links that I go to may not be working. Is there any reason why these might not work? Matt?
Yeah, so I guess the participants do have the possibility to remove their entries. Is that the answer you're looking for? Or you're saying something's broken that I've missed?
No, nothing's broken. So these the entries that people submit, we have them that they need to have them available up until the judging, but they do have the possibility of pulling down the demos. So having your project running on an AWS machine, sometimes that costs a little bit of money to keep going. So sometimes they go down, but the code will still remain there. So you can still go and check out the code and spin it up yourself to try it out. But the demo may go down. So, but always go and have a check and see what's there. The projects remain referenced there, so you can see what they did, what data sets they used, and what sort of challenges that they're responding to. That all information all remains in the hackerspace for that.
And their video.
Yep, and their video. So speaking of looking at project pages, so what sort of information needs to be on a project page? Matt, so when you're creating a project, what do you need to do to be eligible to win a prize?
Yeah, there's a few critical ones here, and you do need to reference the rules, right? So GovHack is a competition with rules, and within those rules, it's about open data. So using an open data set is a requirement, but make sure you document it. It's probably the biggest thing I've seen in the last few years where people have used a data set and they haven't documented it. So when you're filling out these projects, work together as a team, make sure you get in early. You can start populating it early and update it through the day on the Sunday. Speaking of getting in early, your video, try to get that in a few hours early so you've got upload times. Video is a critical part of it, making sure you got a video that's under 3 minutes, nothing longer. The judges will stop watching. But the more detail you can provide here, the better. So you might have the best video, but if you've got people clicking through, reviewing a few pages, like we just gave the example that go back and review last year's entries, you want to have a catchy picture, a good blurb of text explaining what it is that you've got there in the challenge. And then we see them have some other critical things like evidence of work, like show us the code. If it's a app you've developed, show us the photos of you building the clay model or whatever it might be, but show that evidence that you've done it, that it has been built over the weekend and it's not, say, an existing product that you've been on the market for 10 years. We want to show that what has been built over that weekend. Did I miss anything?
The one thing that will come up and is an open data story. You want to tell the story of how you've used the data, how you have mashed it up, and what does it go to say. So if you can give an example of how the data has flown from it being on the data portal, how you combine it with other data sets, and what does this mean? What story does it tell? That's a good thing so that judges can see how you've utilized and their data sets within it. So, Stu, you mentioned some shiny badges. These are what they look like. So, this was my one from last year with the two different sides. We have the ones for this year are currently being printed at the moment and are going to be traveling to all our different venues very shortly. So on the front we have information that is important. So we have the person's name, any organization that they're part of. We also have a symbol up the top that has a photo. So one of the things that we do for this is we want to make sure that people do consent to have photos taken of them. So we have this symbol where you can just, if it has a cross through it, it's like, no, I don't want any photos, so taken of me. But even if they have it showing that they're with the camera without the symbol, always check, make sure that it's fine to take a photo of someone before posting or before taking it. So Zaidul, what are those funny looking images at the bottom of the card?
Okay, so these cards, the different images actually showing like what type of food you are looking for. Like if you have any food restrictions, that also gives you a bit of indication of it.
Not like those ones.
Which one?
Okay.
I don't know the answer either. We tried to do this in other connections events, and we're trying to work out, is that first one a pie chart or is it a brain? Or so you might have to talk us through it, Jason.
Okay, so the first one is a pie chart. So it could be if you do want a slice of pie with your dinner, but no, this one is whether you are proficient in data skills, whether you're the data person for your team. We then have the coder. So are you the coder of this skill set? Can you program in JavaScript? Can you program in Python? Whatever languages can you do? Can you do this as be the techie person of your team? We then have the creative. So whether you're the designer, whether you're looking at this is either both the visual design as well as the user experience design. So it's not just going making it look shiny. You also want to make sure that it is usable. So this involves potentially going and speaking to people, finding out the experiences that people have, problems that they have. So when you're designing something, that you're considering who is the end user of the proof of concept that you're creating. Then the last one is the facilitator. Are you the person that makes sure that your team is getting all their project page filled out? Are you the person that makes sure, okay, we need to get the video started, otherwise you aren't going to have time. Okay, video needs to start uploading now, otherwise it's going to be submitted late. So what sort of skills do you bring into this? The other skill that is important for this is life experience. If you are someone that is a person that has experience in the areas that are related to one of the challenges. If you're someone, say, if we have a challenge around tourism, how do we promote tourism to a specific area? If you have worked in the tourism sector, you can bring in that life experience into these challenges to do this. Or you may be the person that goes off and speaks to people that has this other life experience for it. So it's not all tech, it's not all code. There's bring in any skill sets that you have. We also have at the top of the badges, if you've already registered in the hackerspace, we have different colors based on what sort of profile you have. We have the hackers, we have youth hackers. So we have participants that are participating in GovHack that are under 18 years old. So they have the youth hackers badge, and then you'll find them with their parents or guardians. We then have the blue ones for our mentors. You can see who our VIPs are, and our crew. That's our GovHack volunteers that make this event possible. They come in, they make sure that people have access to the supplies that they need, food if it's at the venue. They make sure that all goes off without a hitch. So, how does the weekend flow? So, Matt, can you walk me through that Friday night?
Sure. So at most venues, the venue will open around about 5 o'clock local time. Now, do check that. There's more information about the opening time of the doors on the hackerspace when you register for the event. Then at 6 p.m. is when the presentations will start. So we'll start talking through what about GovHack and some of the sponsors and the data custodians, and we'll go through some of the introduction at that point. But the competition doesn't actually start till 7 p.m. So at 7 p.m. local time is when those challenges will become available on the hackerspace. And also then I'll spend a little bit of time in those physical venues talking about some of those and making that announcement that the competition has begun. The closing time will be dependent on your venue, so it'll be potentially different in different places. Again, check the hackerspace to find out what time it closes on that Friday. If you're participating online, those still key times are 6 o'clock and the 7 o'clock. We will have a live stream that they can tune in to watch those videos. Is that right? Yep.
Yep. You said local time. So does that mean that Stu over in New Zealand gets to start before me?
I believe so.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Even though they will get to start, the competition will last for 46 hours relative to your local time. So that when you are participating in this, everyone will start at their local time and finish at their local time, which is 5 p.m. on the Sunday, which we'll go through in a moment. So, on the Saturday, we have a mentor morning tea. Zedel, what is a mentor morning tea? Do I get to eat the mentors?
Not exactly. So the mentors are actually the subject matter experts. So mentors will come from our sponsors who are putting up the challenges, from our partners, and they will help you out if you have any questions. So maybe you have a data set and you don't know all the metadata or the details of the data. You can quickly catch them up and just ask them what's the thing. And also they will be available in our Slack channel. So we'll have separate Slack channels for all our sponsors. You can ask them the question about the mentor morning tea, or on your spot, like the mentors will come up on the Saturday morning, they will sit together, they will do a bit of morning tea, and you can also go there and ask them questions, and you also know like who is the mentor for which specific agency. Yep, that's mainly the mentor morning tea. Ask the mentor any question. You will find the mentors who are expert on maybe video editing or creating videos. They will tell you maybe some tricks and tricks how can you quickly make the videos for your challenge.
Okay. At midday, this is the time that we recommend that you lock in your challenges. You can change these later, but it's a good idea to, by this time, have created your project page, have added your team members, and then select what challenges you want to work on as a part of the competition. You can select up to 5 challenges to do this. So you'll find that some challenges have alignment, so that you can potentially respond to multiple challenges with the same proof of concept for this. If you're doing this, make sure to get these put in early, but you can always change these later. Doing it at the on Saturday means you're not trying to race at 2 minutes to 5 on Sunday going, oh, what challenges am I submitting for? You want to get these in early. It also gives us an indication of which challenges are popular, or which ones that we can go around and speak to teams and go, hey, have you seen this challenge? This related to the project that you're working on. You might want to add it onto your project page. So we want to do that. So that's for midday. And then on the Saturday night, we have a trivia event. So, Zaidul, do you like trivia?
Yeah, it's the most fun part of it. Like during the COVID time, we started it and we found like it's very interesting because the hackers and everyone, the participants creating their projects, moving their head around what project they will create. And that's a bit of breaking time when you get out of your project and have some fun. So it will be a quiz online and we will have a leaderboard and it's really interesting. We will have fun questions up there and we'll say like how much you know about GovHack, how much you know about open data, how much you know about the in general questions as well. So it's the most fun part of it. Definitely whatever project you are busy in, I will suggest just jump into a trivia night. You will love it.
Awesome. So one of the things with, if you're going through a design process, one of the things after you've come up with your idea, you start working on it and you get stuck. Taking a break, standing away from the problem, going and doing something else, such as trivia, is a good way of just letting your mind think in the background, so that when you come back, you're refreshed and you can potentially, your brain may have just been ruminating on the idea and you can answer that question that you're going, how do I code this thing that's not working? That's how I do it. So trivia is always fun and it takes you away from exactly what you're working on so that you get some time to do other things. So on the Sunday, Stuart, what happens on Sunday?
Yeah, on Sunday, time will be your biggest enemy. So we really want you to get that story together. So your storyboarding, we would recommend, build up a slide deck and get your the story that you're trying to tell as you go. Think about narrating what you're gonna say against in the video. Get some video clips, screen snap some of your work on your phone. If you want to do a bit of play acting and pretend that you're one of the, someone using the tool. I think it's all around, that video, the heart of the story, telling that story, and just get something basic going and iterate towards the end. And that end is 5 o'clock, but it can take maybe 20 minutes to upload, right? So and do low fidelity versus high fidelity video creation. Think about your video editing software suite. I don't know, Jason or anybody, any recommendations on a video editing tool?
So I, if I'm recording things, I will just use my phone, which, hey, I think my camera has stopped, but I will use my phone to do this. So it will, you can just record it, just make sure it's stable. Or if you're trying to record your screen, you can use OBS. So OBS is a software package. It's what I'm using to stream this, and as I say that I'm recommending it, and now my camera's frozen, but it is a good piece of software that is able to record your screen. So it should be able. The other people are moving. It's just my camera is not working. So it can showcase this. you can do editing within YouTube as well. So these are fun tools. I will be releasing the GovHack handbook on our website on the weekend. So this will link to these different tools that you can utilize as well, so that you can see these recommendations that we have. Um, so,
So,
Matt.
Jason, yeah, I was going to jump in with a question. So,
Yep.
the competition starts at 7 on the Friday and goes to 5 on the Sunday. So we've got the 46 hours.
Yeah.
I imagine everyone sleeps at the end. Is that what the plan is? Are the venue's open 24 hours here? And
I would actually recommend that people go and sleep in the middle of the competition. Our venues close sometime between 8 to midnight, depending on the specific venue. And we want to encourage people, go home, sleep, shower, come back refreshed in the morning. Do not do what I and other participants, when GovHack was new and a fledgling, do, and sleep on the venue. There was one of my friends that was participating. They decided that they wanted to sleep in a cupboard, because they could stay at the venue. That's not allowed anymore. Go home, sleep, relax. But
So I had the feedback from one of the teams, and it was that back when you used to be able to do these long hours and they're going through, no one had slept for 46 hours. They weren't being very considerate of the other teams. The other people that were showing up for the end, the closing, had to put up with the smell of the people that hadn't showered or gone home or stayed up drinking Red Bulls for 46 hours. So yeah, we'd recommend for your health, take a break, relax. And in particular, like on that Friday night, I think it's a good chance that you get an idea of the competitor, you get your idea, and then you go have a good rest so you can get stuck into it the next day. You set and decide on your idea, and then you can use your time over the weekend to work on it.
Yeah. So Matt, why should I not decide to start uploading my video at 5 minutes before the deadline?
Yep. Your video has to be ready, has to be available on the service. So we will, the judges, and we'll be checking to make sure that all those videos are available at that time, and we can get the timestamps of when it was finished uploading. A site like YouTube, for example, if you're uploading a raw footage, it could take a couple of hours depending on your internet connection. But also there's a chance that something on your side could go wrong. The internet connection could go down, your laptop could fail, etc. So take advantage of potentially getting a initial video, a draft video in early, maybe on the Sunday morning, and then aim for around that midday on the Sunday. If possible, the earlier the better. And then go back and start working on that documentation on that project page and the demo and all those other pieces of it. So there's still work to be done, and the team can still work on that that demonstration and the text there. So the earlier the better. Don't leave it till 5 minutes to 5.
Yeah, awesome. Because if something's going to go wrong, something will go wrong. I know this from all the demo days that I've done. Things go wrong. Plan for it. If things go drastically wrong, reach out to us though. Let us know if there's problems. And as long as you tell us before the deadlines, we can take that into consideration. As long as you've taken proactive steps at doing things. So let us know in advance if there's issues. Coming to us right at the end, 2 hours after the event is closed, and go, I'm trying to upload and it's not working. If you tell us in advance so that we know it's coming. Okay.
And if you're at one of the physical venues, for example, I'd recommend just checking in regardless, even if you don't think anything's wrong. Maybe just get someone else, another team, a mentor, one of the volunteers that are there, just to check your entry, just to make sure that you've got all the information, you really did save that form, etc. And that'd really help as well.
Yeah, and you'll find the mentors will be double checking your project page and maybe poking and making sure all your team names are associated, things like that.
Yeah. So one thing you'll need to make sure that you do is add the people to your team that are on your team. When we're going out and awarding prizes at the end, we award prizes based on the names that are in the hackerspace that are registered to your team. If people aren't registered to your team, We don't know who is a part of it. So make sure you do that. If you're a youth-focused team, you also then need to make sure that you do have at least one person that is over 18 in your team as well, so that should your team win, we have a adult that we can talk to about any travel that might be required, or if there is any prize money, we have a person over 18 to send the winning money to distribute to your team. So, what sort of challenges should people be expecting over the competition weekend? So, Matt, what things are about the environment? So, environment's one of our challenges. What sort of things should people be expecting?
Sure. So there's a couple of things you can do here. You can look at our themes, that we do have a couple of the key themes around climate change, renewable energy, sustainable resource management, but also taking a look at your federal, like the national and the state sponsors that you've got for your area. You might give you an idea of the type of challenges and type of entries that you can put in. But also having the third one, the other thing to do is to jump onto those data.gov portals and have a look at some of the resources that are available around each of these topics. Yep.
So we have some things around the social aspect. So Zidal, what sort of social things would people be looking at?
Yeah, in the post-pandemic world, like reshaping the health and well-being and getting the proper right skill set into the market is currently a challenge for all the industries. So that's why the skill development is coming in the first, like how the skill development data can be found, how people's skill can be better utilized in current society, and then the diversity and inclusion is coming up there, where it's mainly like breaking the social barrier and gender barrier up there. Those sort of challenges can come up from this social side of it, and the whole health and well-being. We know, like after the pandemic, we're still not over from the pandemic, but still the health and well-being is very is a concern for all the states or for all the agencies. So there can be a lot of challenges around around health and well-being, and different health data set can come up, which may be included in the challenges.
Yeah. And then, Stuart, around governance, what sort of things are in this area that we may have some challenges?
Yeah. Well, information is power, right? So then, data governance, we're talking about making sure that the data represents our citizens, the privacy is kept, that the use of the data to make decisions is quite important. So we're making data-driven decisions off of these data sets, and they impact strategies, they impact decisions in our cities. So it's all around that sort of quality data and how that's managed.
Awesome. So, if I am successful in some of our challenges, we have multiple different levels. So we have our challenges that are related to within Australia. We have our states and territories. So you can enter challenges that are based in your state and territory. You can then enter challenges that are relevant to the country that you're in. So this could be either Australia or New Zealand. And then you could enter international level challenges that are open to competitors from all around Australia and New Zealand. All these challenges will can add up to a maximum of 5, and then depending on which level of the who the sponsor is and whether it's in a regional, a country, or international challenge, will depend on where we award the prizes for this. So we have award events that take place a couple of weeks after the competition to allow enough time for our judges to go through. Our successful winners of our national and international challenges go on to win some shiny medals. So these are real medals that we get done every year. So you can potentially walk away with some of these great medals to showcase that. But it's not just medals that you walk away with. Zaidul, you mentioned something else that they can walk away with. What things can they take?
You will get a certificate definitely, like for your participation and your project, that you can put a frame and keep on your showcase definitely, and definitely models, medals coming, and the badges. We said like winners and the runner-up, they will get a special badge that you can share around on your LinkedIn and other social media platforms. You can, yeah, just come on.
Yeah. So the other thing is, we have all these sponsors. What other things do sponsors give us? Matt?
Sure. One of them is an opportunity for a job. There could be recruiters out there that are looking for talent and people to employ. So it's definitely a big part of it. And by winning, it also gives them something for their resume. Another line on the resume that you won the challenge, and a YouTube link or a link to your hackerspace with the details about it.
Yeah.
We missed the cash prizes.
Yes.
I was going to mention the cash prizes. Thank you, Zadul. Yeah.
So, the challenges do have a cash prize. We don't say how much these cash prizes are because we want people to be entering these based on the topics, not just going and hunting for the challenges that have the most prize money, because that's not what they're about. We're about generating as many ideas as you can. So go and work on something that you're interested in, that you can give a meaningful entry to. And then should you do well with that, the sponsors will recognize it based on their judging criteria, and they'll be able to give you, should you be the best candidate from their viewing, some prize money that goes with it. Then we'll give you the certificate, we'll give you the medals, we'll give you the badges for this. Then you can talk to them about progressing your idea further. So the idea shouldn't just end at 5 p.m. on Sunday. Although we ask that you don't make any changes to it between then and judging, at least what is shown on your GitHub and what is in your videos and what is in your demos, that all needs to stay static. But you're welcome to create branches off of the main project and continue working on a derivative of the project, but the main thing that you submit on the Sunday needs to stay static until all the judging is complete, so that they're judging it based on 46 hours of effort, not 3 weeks of effort after the competition.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, the sponsors will, they have the choice to kind of maybe fund things further. And that's very exciting to have that hack to impact. Is there another award? Is there another temptation, Jason? The award ceremony? Anything happening around that?
So
or maybe could be a reward or.
Yeah. So we have award ceremonies that take place for in Australia. Our state and territory ones will occur about the middle to end of September to give enough time for the judging to take place. These typically happen in the capital city. We gather people together to award people for this. We then have for our New Zealand, we have a New Zealand event that generally will take place most likely around October, I think, Stuart?
Yes, that's right.
Yep. And then we have our combined Australia and international one that will occur sometime in October, most likely near the end of October. We'll keep you posted on when this is exactly going to be and when it is. More information on when, where will be announced after the competition weekend. So all this information will be available on the hackerspace, just like you registered for the events for this event as well as the competition events. Registration for the awards events will take place there. We'll also be reaching out to teams to go, hey, you're in the running for something based on your entry. Make sure you register and come along. That's our prizes and stuff and the awards. So we have a little bit of time for Q&A. So if you're in our YouTube chat, drop any questions that you have into the YouTube chat, and we'll pick up some questions to take forward. one of the ones that has been responded into chat, but to drop it into here so people watching this later can get to it, is unfortunately I'm not available on Saturday, but I would like to do help mentoring on the Sunday. Is that still possible? Can I not mentor on one day but do it on the others? Zodul?
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. You can this is just mainly to helping the participants. So definitely, whenever you are available, you can come on. Even you can be in the Slack 1 hour at some point, and keep eye on the Slack when you want, and it's completely flexible.
Awesome. So we have a question around what is the judging criteria. So our judging criteria for these is listed on the Hackerspace under our competition rules. So we have the judges will be judging this on the originality of your idea, how relevant it is to the nominated challenge that you've entered. If there's any specific award eligibility, whether this be around the specific data that you use, around the specific team criterias. There is things around criteria around the consistency for the competition purpose and social value. So is this beneficial to improving society and communities? Around the quality and design, the usability, and then an overall score for the project submission. So when judges are going through, they'll be judging based on this. We also then have the opportunity for the People's Choice Award. So you'll get a chance to do some judging as well if you'd like, where you can, as long as you have submitted a entry into the competition, you'll be eligible to do some judging of some of your peers to see what is the best of the best. They will also then be able to do judging of your entry, and we'll keep track of this over the about 3 weeks after the competition to allow enough time for people to go through as many entries as they can to see what is good. Matt, have you done any judging for GovHack before?
I have, yeah. So I was a participant, so I was able to judge for the people choice, but I've also done the judging for some of our challenges as well. So I've the last couple of years, and outside of just the judging of them, I've actually watched quite a lot of videos. I like to get a playlist of all the YouTube videos and play them one after the other and sit there for the hours and hours that it goes to watch them all. So I've seen plenty of those challenges.
Awesome. So question to everyone. What is your recommendation over the weekend? How can you make the best effort, the most of your time for this? So I'll start with Stuart and then work up my list. So Stuart, what are your recommendations for the weekend?
Recommendations for the weekend. Spend a good time with the team, get the team forming, make sure you have that diversity. I think what you described on on the card, you have that sort of mix. Probably, assign someone video editor, pretty early on, and they'll be gathering the content, and ultimately they're going to be telling that 3-minute video story. I think, break it down, do very thin slices end to end, as Matt mentioned, get a draft thing going, and don't try and boil the ocean, right? So when you're trying to demonstrate, build a visualization, build an app, you can tell stories around it, but build something right in the heart of it that is working, and that should be good enough for the judges to determine.
All right. Zydol, your recommendations for the weekend?
Yeah, my recommendation will be time management, because it's only 46 hours and there are heaps of challenges. Quickly pick up which challenge you want to look in, and then look into your what diversity you have in your team, and then start building the video as soon as possible. When you get the challenge, take it in, create the idea, and then engage someone to create the video, and then you build the product on the way, and then add those parts in the video. In that case, you will have enough time to have a shiny video and also a shiny product. So time management is very important, and definitely when you're uploading, you just keep some time on your hand. I can remember during our time, like everyone is trying to upload the video, and it was very slow because YouTube or Vimeo, wherever you submit, you will find that it takes a bit of time to process it. So have some time on your hand, and then good luck for it.
Matt.
Yeah, so part of it's assigning the roles. So whether you've got someone leading it or you've got some kind of leadership list model where you work as a team, but knowing who's doing what and working out what you're going to be working on, that can change over the weekend, but working on some kind of agile model where you've got that minimum viable product and you're working on the task at the time, so you're working together as a team. We've actually got some really good resources the last couple of years that we've published a few videos that you can look up on YouTube for the GovHack channel and see some of the videos around the hacker mindset and what you should expect and what you should be doing over the weekend as you work through each of those phases. From the ideation to setting your tasks and running through various methodologies, but also focusing on things like those user journeys and those user experience. What are people going to see when they watch your video? What are they going to see when they do this demo? Make sure you're focusing on that experience. You might have a great product, but if you've got a video with a poorly recorded sound track over the top of it, you're not going to get the message across. So we've got some great resources there that talk about things like making the videos and working together as a team.
A recommendation that I have, so I'm going to be a little bit of the contrarian to Zaidul and say that you should spend a little bit of extra time on picking your challenges. Look around at reading through the ones that interest you, then go look at the data sets. See what data sets draw interest to you. And don't just look at the title of the data set, don't just look at the description. Dig into the data set, see what information's actually in there, to see what columns you have to work with, what different data sets, and then go, what story could I tell with this data? There is time for this on the Friday night. So ideally, by the end of the Friday night, you have selected the key 1 or 2 data sets you want to work with. You should be looking for more across the weekend on how to build it, but you should pick up what is your key ones, and you should have identified what is the central challenge that you want to work with by the end of the Friday night. Do a very rough idea of how this will turn out. Then go away, sleep, come back on the Saturday refreshed, and then have a look at your things that you made and go, hey, there's this other challenge that's relevant. I can do this one as well with that. But try and lock down an initial concept on the Friday night. Yeah. Okay. Question. Could we please share the videos about creating videos? We will drop the links for that into the description of this video once it's finalized for that. Okay, and that looks like that is it for the questions that I'm seeing in here. So any last comments, Matt?
Look, so this is going to be a bit of a hint, a tip for being creative with your challenges. That GovHack was born about this open data set and the sharing with the government agencies, the custodians of the data, sharing it. They want your feedback. They want to know what data sets they should be releasing. So potentially data sets that haven't been released, that data points that they've got there. We're showing them the creative things you can do and build with those data sets. So as well as using an existing data set, I always like to give a little bit of a hint that go talk about those ones that aren't there as well, the ones that aren't available, the ones that you'd love to see, because that's what these data custodians are, the feedback that they're wanting. Not only submit it on their portals and go in and ask for the data sets, but also show them what you could be creating in addition to combining the current data set and something new.
Awesome. Is that all?
Yeah, also like, yeah, it's a competition. You have heaps of things to do and produce a proof of concept by 46 hours. But over the top, it is actually fun. So you are spending a worthful weekend with fun with some like-minded people. You don't know, maybe your potential employer is sitting on your table and is maybe he or she is on your team. So it's at the end, it's actually fun. Have a fun weekend. Join our trivia event. That's the most fun that we said. It will be catered. So have a good one.
Yeah. And Stuart.
Yeah, put your mindset into a citizen. Like you are a citizen of a city. What would you want to see from the government? And hey, you get to create it. So and maybe think like you're in the movie business, making a trailer for a movie that you'd love to see as well. Tell that story.
Yep. For me, I'm gonna go with what Zoda was saying. Have fun. This is a fun experience. Create something interesting. Do something new. Don't just go down the tried and true path. Um, uh, uh, dare yourself to try something brand new that you haven't done before. It's 46 hours. That is. It's not a week. It's not a month. It's 46 hours to try something brand new. And I do see one last question that is very relevant. Can I register the challenges with a teammate from a different state? If you're working in a team that has participants from multiple different locations, you'll need to pick the location where you want your team to be based. So, I'm based in Queensland, Zidul's in South Australia, Matt's in Canberra, and Stuart's over in New Zealand. If we formed a team, we get to pick one of these locations where we want our team to be based. For that, our team will be then based at that location and in that time zone. So related to when that is. So if we entered, if we were going to be based in New Zealand with Stuart, we would be finishing up for those in Australia at Eastern Standard Time. We would be finishing up at 3 p.m. because that's when they finish over in New Zealand.
And also, Jason, it affects what challenges you can apply for, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
that's another aspect to consider.
your team is eligible for the challenges based on where the team is. So any challenges that New Zealand team could enter, since we've elected to be in New Zealand for this, we would be eligible for the New Zealand ones. But you need a physical presence in this, a location. It can't be just I'm going to register over here. You need to actually be physically present in one of these locations. That doesn't mean that you need to be at one of our physical events, but you need to be within that regional area for this. Some of our, within Australia, some of our state and territory challenges are eligible for anyone within Australia to enter. When you're working through the challenge page, if you select your region to work on, it will filter the challenges based on the ones that you can enter. So make sure to choose what region that you're in, and it'll filter based on what you're eligible to enter. So that's it from us. I'm going to play us out with that video once again. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming along. We look forward to seeing you next weekend. So thank you, and thank you to Matt, Zadol, and Stuart for joining me here this evening.